Yeah, yeah. So Nate is out. He asked me to run this. Welcome everyone. So to remind you again, this meeting is conducted under the CNCF Code of Conduct, which means basically be kind and polite to each other. And normally when we have a new person, we introduce ourselves. Corey, I know you wanted to observe, but would you like to introduce yourself and tell us your story or why you're here?
Yeah, certainly. Hi, my name is Corey Leong. I am a college professor at Valencia College here in Orlando, Florida, and we feel the heat. It is intensely hot with the UVs here, so I know exactly what you mean there. I'm just interested in learning about how to go about incorporating mentorships for my undergraduate students. I teach a block of cloud computing courses, and I'd love to have my students be mentored with cloud native technology so they can add that to their resumes and then hopefully get hired by organizations. So that's really my goal, is just to observe. I'm just listening.
Okay.
And I'd love to learn more.
Awesome. Are you already connected with this higher education group that Catherine and Langdon White of Boston University are starting?
No, those names don't sound familiar.
Okay, it's
Should
brand
I be?
new. Yeah, it's
Oh,
brand
okay.
new.
Okay.
So basically, Langdon and another professor from another institution contacted Catherine,
Okay.
and they're trying to put together something. A lot of that is going to be about curriculum, right? About like how do you include actual topics in, because there aren't really textbooks out about Kubernetes. So I will find links for that.
Great. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, and by the way, I'm Josh Burkus. I'm co-chair of Tag Contributor Strategy. I work for Red Hat, where I work on Kubernetes and many related technologies. Co-founded this FIG mostly so I could help projects get their governance in order, but it's kind of grown quite a bit beyond that.
So
great. Sorry.
Go.
Kia ora koe. Yeah, my name's Jay. I'm the co-chair of the mentoring working group alongside Nate, who's unfortunately couldn't make it today. I work with a small company called II, based in New Zealand, and I work in the communities a lot, like between schools and universities and local businesses and stuff, trying to create pathways into open source, into cloud natives. So yeah, I work with Catherine a little bit on the higher ed stuff as well.
Great.
Working out how we can sort of, the idea would be to create some sort of collaboration between faculty members globally about how it can hopefully introduce us into curriculum. So yeah, awesome to connect with you. And yeah, if there's anything to help with going forward, let me know.
Great, thank you.
So I can go next. My name is Ali. I work for Red Hat. I'm a software engineer working on a project called Knative. And here in this group, in general, actually the wider group, the Tag Contributor Strategy, I try to help out with contributor growth and mentoring and governance. And also I am the tech lead for the contribute.cncf.io website. That is pretty much it, I think. Rian?
Hi, I'm Rian. I am in South Africa, but also working for II with Jay. We're doing a lot of conformance work for the CNCF and some other Kubernetes work. And then I am with Ali, tech lead on the Tag Contributor Strategy.
Thanks, everyone. So let me quickly share my screen to show, one second. The meeting notes. So it's in the recording. And also, Corey, the this, I pasted this issue in the chat,
Okay,
this GitHub issue,
thank you.
and this has some information about this higher ed working group thing.
Wonderful, thank you.
And other than that, we have obviously, so this is the mentoring working group, so we have mentorship programs. There is Google Summer of Code, there is LFX mentorship, the Linux Foundation mentorship program. So students can also be interested in those programs too. Do you know about those programs?
I do not. This is all new to me here.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Ali.
Yeah, so the Google Summer of Code is basically Google's program, and we participate in that program as CNCF, as an organization within the program. So there are a bunch of other organizations like, I don't know, JBoss is one of them. I don't know, Google probably has its own projects there. I don't know, like hundreds of organizations like this, Python Foundation or whatever it's called. All these open source projects or foundations, they have their proposals there. So they submit proposals basically saying we are looking for people, open source beginners. So these can be students too, but they are not limited to students in Google Summer of Code. And then mentees apply, and if they are selected, they work on these projects that the mentors proposed, and the mentors, so basically mentees have a mentor, so it's not a group thing, it's not a group mentoring thing, but more like a one-on-one thing, or sometimes they have even more mentors than one. So LFX is Linux Foundation mentorship program that is similar concept, but that is run run by Linux Foundation, and that is happening more often. So Google Summer of Code is once a year, and it starts pretty much in the applications start in like March, April, and the coding starts in June, I think. But for LFX, there are 3 terms in a year. So there is one term in, well, in terms of Northern Hemisphere, there is one in spring, summer, and fall. So this is like the basic overview of these programs. And I think you can see my screen. So I can also, after the meeting, I can also put some links here in the notes.
Wonderful, thank you, Ali.
So I'm gonna, one second, zoom in a little bit. Yeah. Go to the next section, updates, reminders. So the term 2 of LFX mentorship is approaching to an end. The final mentee evaluations are due on August 23, and the term 3 is starting soon. So these are the numbers that Nate prepared. So these are good numbers, I think. We are in application period for mentees, and it will end in next week, end of next week. And then people will start, like mentees and mentors will start working on projects together. And similarly, Google Summer of Code is almost finished, August 21st and 28th. So this week is the final week. And things are pretty well in all of these programs at this moment. So I don't see anything other than these in the agenda, and maybe we can do some board grooming or project issue grooming, whatever it's called. So we have two boards. Basically, there is this mentoring tag CS repo board and the mentoring repo.
Just to clarify if it's unclear, so basically, yeah, so it's for the two different repos. There is some mentoring issues inside the TagCS repo, but you can't. I couldn't figure out if somebody know how get both the mentoring groups onto one board, unless you have specific labels, which I tried, and they said no, we'd rather not synchronize labels across the repo. So for the moment, we have to. If that's
Okay,
okay.
yeah, it's okay. Sorry, for more context, Corey. So once there is not much in the agenda that we talked through about everything, then we kind of in the group switch to task grooming, which might be not that interesting for you. But yeah, feel free to stick around. I think in last time I wasn't here in the meeting. I was sick actually. So I think you guys did the backlog grooming because I see nothing in new and things are in backlog. There's only this one new, which is something I created when I was talking to Nate. So this is about having some kind of mentor case studies, which will help gathering more mentors, basically. So how the mentorship programs helped with the mentors and not the mentees. So this is the focus of this kind of case study. So we need to find some mentors for this and talk with them, do some survey, and then prepare some case studies based on this. I just created this because I didn't want to lose this idea when I was talking to Nate, but I don't have the capacity to work on it right now myself. Any comments or?
Is the idea in the first instance just going to mentors who have already supported the LFX program?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have some, with some mentors, we have very good relationships, so we can just go to them and we know they're good people, like they're good mentors.
Yeah.
So we can talk to them.
This is almost something that if we can get the help of the blog writing people and say, would you mind writing up a thing? And because I'm not sure exactly how that worked for Kubernetes. They had a big blog written about all things around SIG architecture, and they actually had a blog writer contact individuals and had some specific questions for them, and then he collated all the information back, and I got a questionnaire that I had to fill in, and they're actually going to write something about that. So maybe if we can get the communication person that's really industrious to give them the contact details and collect the information.
Okay.
And kind of turn it into a blog that we can use. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay, it's a good idea. It shouldn't be just living in our repo. We should also create a blog post about it.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea though. Those stories are going to be key going forward to building this all out, eh? So
yeah. So basically we need more mentors, right?
yeah.
That's always the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how is the workflow now? Do I keep it here? No, I put it
no,
put it on the
if we
backlog.
agree, so the idea is, yeah, if we agree the
yeah.
new issue is valid, we stick it in the backlog. It is valid, so stick it in the backlog.
Okay. Okay, cool.
And then we could have looked at the other columns as well.
So in this other one, there is nothing in the new column.
Uh,
Okay. You want to go
Maybe
through the
it might
backlog
also be
again?
interesting. Sorry, Ali, I saw that is our guest still on? Oh yes, Boris still here. Maybe the deaf and hard of hearing might. I'm not sure if they have anything around disabilities in Corey's college, but I see on the other board the deaf and hard of hearing issue.
Yeah.
That maybe you can mention that as well. To Corey.
Yeah, so I'll speak to that quickly. So it's another initiative that's just been started recently by Catherine, who's sort of spearheading this project. So reaching out to those, as Rian mentioned, those deaf and hard of hearing, and trying to create a collaborative approach to creating pathways into cloud native. So again, very new. We just had our first official meeting maybe a week or two ago. But it's already building momentum quite quickly. There's new members joining all the time, which is awesome to see. So again, that's just another channel that's on the Slack there, and you're welcome to join and check that out. But in part, it's about how we can have more inclusive and innovative approaches to making pathways a little bit more accessible for people. So yeah, as Rian mentioned, if there's either yourself or any of your students who might be interested or fit that description, be more than welcome to get involved.
Great, thank you, JT.
Good.
Okay.
Cool.
Rian, you want to check the other columns here? You said something like that, right?
Sorry, it will help if I unmute. So we could work in progress. I assume is all it's all picked up with Nate. It's all Nate stuff, and the signed is the umbrella issue about the admin task. So I don't think there's anything else that there's no PRs to review. So I think we're good to roll.
Cool. And here is pretty much empty anyway. Okay. So is there anything else that you want to talk about, folks?
Just general updates from my end again. So we've been collaborating with university here to an Indigenous Data Conference, which is in a couple of weeks. Apparently it's already run in the US before, and I think they're looking to maybe do one in Canada. But we've been working on that for the past couple of months, so that should be good. I'll be in Sydney for the first couple of days. It was the last part, and going to be speaking a little bit to some open source resources and things. And I've just been talking with some of the team from Linux Training and Certs to promote some of their courses to help people just build some entry-level skills into that, and just build some familiarity with Linux in general, because as we mentioned, it's a little bit scarce. But also connected with someone who works with CodeFresh, which I think is an Israeli-based company, and he contributes to Kubernetes and the like. Is also sponsoring some coupons for Argo stuff as well. So he's supporting a little bit with that messaging, and in general has some really interesting ways about building out the pathway and creating a bit of a talent stream and learning cohort there. So that's awesome connection at the moment, and yeah, very welcome. So we're just working a little bit closer about how we can, most of my focus has sort of been community education based, but he's got some really good ways about how to potentially build this and promote this more around local businesses. So our intern Abby, who's already been working a lot within the schools and starting to lay out some of the projects there and working on our own sort of development stuff, will help to build out some of that sort of thing as well, because we've got a couple of events over the next month. Again, we'll be sort of helping to open up these pathways a little bit more, and again fit into that wider conversation focus around introducing these skills both in the higher ed tertiary space, but also sort of more community business backed training cohorts as well. So I'll think of a succinct way to sort of put that in for the notes' sake. But
Yeah, I couldn't be clear.
brain dump. Yeah, I'll update that. But yeah, in general, I'll have a little bit more to report soon. But yeah, a few things happening.
Cool. Thank you for those.
Good.
Yeah.
And Corey, could I just ask a quick question? No, sorry, I know you're planning to be a bit of a fly on the wall for this meeting, but
Yeah, certainly, certainly.
Can I ask what's been the general interest or awareness of some of your students around cloud native stuff? Is this something that they've initiated themselves, or has this been recognized by the faculty as a as a bit of an interest area to start developing?
Actually, I'm bringing it to the college. I used to work for Oracle, and we did cloud native within our products, our private cloud appliance, and so we teach AWS courses at Valencia College, but of course it's all proprietary software. They can't run it on their own machines. They have to pay for their accounts. Some of them need credit cards to actually just start an account. So they have all these blockers, blocking them trying to learn more about cloud computing technologies. And so I just thought it would be sort of obvious to bring in the open source cloud computing technologies into the college, and that's why I'm wanted to sit in on this meeting, find out more how I can bring cloud native to the college, and help them become aware. Because really, to answer your question, JT, they're really not aware as much of cloud native as they are, of course, as AWS and Microsoft Azure. So I want to give them another option to learn about cloud native software and development.
Yeah, that's awesome. And sorry, Amy, I just saw your question. Yeah, we were discussing the higher ed working group before, and Ali shared some information about that. No, that's really interesting. It's very similar to what's happening here in New Zealand. There's no real cloud native stuff at all in curriculum anywhere, especially of any sort of significant nature. So yeah, definitely on the same sort of page too. So that's yeah, it'd be awesome to stay in touch. And like I said, there's quite a bit of momentum for building up with the higher ed working group, and there's a lot of good ideas, and people have already got some different initiatives and things and different levels of progress too. So there's some there's some links and stuff that I think have been shared in the channel. So if they haven't been, I'm happy to forward those to you as well. So thanks for your email there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I actually added myself to the higher ed Slack channel just now. Perfect. And I'm just going to introduce myself, and I'll stay connected to the community that way, unless there are other channels I need to also stay connected to, if you recommend.
I think that's the main one at the moment.
Okay.
It's, all the fun stuff's happening. So
yeah
that's
awesome. Probably, yeah. And also tag yourself on that issue for the higher ed group. So that Catherine puts you on a notification list as soon as they have their first activity.
Okay.
Things are a little slow right now because, well, summer.
Sure. That's okay.
Something else that I've been thinking, Corey, that you might be interested in is the CNCF does student sponsorships for attending KubeCon.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I'm not sure if it's still open. I don't have much detail on that. Jane, I don't know if you have details on the sponsorship for the students, but
yeah, it's
really worth checking out and get your students to apply, and especially if you have star students really into the Cube thing.
Yeah. I think how that's handled is going to change once CNCF students really gets rolling, which there's been some activity on, but it's not quite ready yet. I don't know how that affects KubeCon Chicago, one way or the other, right? Whether it's CNCF students is going to do the next one, or whether they're going to be up to speed and managing it for Chicago.
Okay.
Because mostly it's because CNCF students will include things like student ambassadors, and student ambassadors will get priority for things like free KubeCon passes.
Sure.
I dropped some links into chat. We are currently in the space to be able to apply for that. Right now, the student applications are for virtual, but that might be a really nice fit.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, another note that I put in the chat, I know that Tag Security is also looking at being able to connect in some of like the college students and all of that. I'm still hunting around for where they've actually hidden that issue. So if somebody else has like hands-on for that one, like please go ahead and drop it in the chat. But there are other excitement like things running around in here. So
That's fantastic. I didn't expect to be participating. Actually, I was just going to sort of be a fly on the wall. But yeah, you guys have really forced
we've
my
got
hand.
lots of good work for you. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Right? Yeah. No, this is right. This is open source. You show up and suddenly find out you're responsible for something.
Yeah, I was finding my name on the
Yeah.
Kanban board somewhere.
Yeah.
Next week. Okay, thanks.
I also dropped the link for CNCF students also in the chat if you want to have a look at that,
Fantastic.
what's going on there.
Okay, thank you.
And if you have students that's keen to do a little bit of open source work, send them my way. We've got several issues that requires not an enormous amount of code, just an enormous amount of willingness.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
You're just getting inundated now. You're in the mix.
You're now one of us. That's how it goes.
So
Scholarships,
one thing,
great.
let me add this thing. So often people are confused about how to start contributing to open source. And Rian wrote this great guide. It is at this address, which I
Okay.
pasted in the meeting notes. And
Okay.
this is a good guide to start contributing to open source, basically telling like the starting with the basics and then understanding, explaining the concept. And
Okay.
that's not just about the code and etc. You know.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. And I was actually planning to either go to Chicago or the next one, I think is in Paris next
Yeah.
year.
Mhm.
I was planning to go to either one of those to hopefully, you know, meet more folks and learn more about contributing for my students.
Awesome.
Scholarship.
Well, then,
So
did we lose Ali?
no, I'm here.
Oh no, he's still here. Okay.
Yeah. So so as a final note, yeah, you can feel free to reach us in Slack in that higher ed Slack channel. We are also in mentoring Slack channel, but that is more like for mentees, if I understand correctly. But we are also in Tag Contributor Strategy group. If you need to reach us.
Will do. Thank you very much.
So anything else you folks want to talk about?
All good from me.
Okay, then let's stop here. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next month.
Thank you, everyone. I
Thanks,
appreciate it.
everybody.
Bye.
Thanks all.
Good day. Cheers. Bye.